That okay, I'll save this one. I'll save this one. So this one is a rare treat. I know Putty is very, very happy for him. He's called Majestic Gaming or Gamer. I've seen a lot of his videos. I really like him. Like, to be honest, the quality of the recording is shit, but he's very good at fairy crafting, and he's very likable, right? So I really like his videos. So what I've planned for us for now is actually, because I love the Barbarian. It's 3 level 20 builds for the Barbarian for the upcoming beta. So for those of you that are going to play the Barbarian, this is definitely for you. Oh, one sec. Let's remove this. Ah, it's magic. Wow. Woo. Ah, down. Majestic Gaming, yeah.
Welcome everyone.
This guy, he's fuck, one sec. I need to move the what is that? Okay, I need to move the game box. One sec. We'll move it here. Just for now. Is it this one? Yeah, actually we're going to move it for the top right. Put it up here. We'll put it up here. Okay, let's see what it has to offer. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this was this guy, he's very doing a lot of Lost Ark videos as well, right?
Diablo 4 guide for the Barbarian for the Server Slam. As you can see behind me, I have prepared 3 very interesting Barbarian build, and this is for the level 22 or level 20 build with 2 renown points. Now over here, we'll be going through the nodes of the Barbarian up.
One sec, I just need to check this. Yes. What I was saying was, I just lost it. It was the missus. I just lost. Sorry about that. The Barbarian, a flat 10% passive damage reduction has been added for the Barbarian class. Some skill trees passives had that damage reduction effect reduced to compensate some skill. The Whirlwind skill now deals more damage and consumes more fury. Oof. The double swing skill enhancement refunds its full fury cost when used to stun or knock down enemies. Oh, okay.
It's good. And also test things out with the Barbarian with the latest changes for the Server Slam. And also we'll be going through some of the legendary aspects and so codexes, because we know the rates of dropping those are back to normal. So it's quite interesting to see what is the must-haves and also what are the optional ones for us to have for each of the build. Now before I dive into the builds, I do want to apologize for not posting as many videos on Diablo 4 guys. I did get a little busy with the other game Hong Kong Impact on the other channel. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'll be making a lot of guides. But I'll be back to make more guides for each of the class for Diablo for the Server Slam, and also to make a leveling guide for all the classes so you can level 20 very fast within the 2 days and get the most out of the game. So let's come over to the patch notes first. So we can see the Barbarian has gotten a damage reduction from the monsters, and this is actually not bad. So that means we can have more close range combat by 10% damage reduction. Now the Whirlwind skill is fixed or adjusted for more damage and also consumes more fury. This actually reminds me really much of the perks over here. So if you have a look at the perks for the Barbarian, there's one, the core spell deals 135% more damage but costs 100 more fury. So this is like a mini buff to the Whirlwind, which we're gonna look in the Whirlwind. Now the double swing skill now refunds full fury. I'm not really sure how to use off that, so let me know in the comments about this one guys. I didn't build the double swing build for the testing of the Server Slam. Now because Barbarians got a damage reduction buff and also Whirlwind buff, we're gonna go with the Whirlwind Barbarian for the first build. So you can see over here 5 points into Whirlwind. Now we'll be going with 1 point into Frenzy, and also Frenzy provide us with damage reduction. So this will provide us with more damage reduction and also more fury. because Whirlwind will cause more fury. Now 5 points into Whirlwind and also provide more fury. And also now Whirlwind will deal 30% more damage. So our major source of AoE targeting will be Whirlwind. Now we do have a spirit point over here, and I want to get into some vulnerability. So 1 point into pressure point will give us some really decent vulnerability.
Still haven't understood lucky hit 100%.
Will deal a
Is
lot
that
of
like
of damage.
It's kind of like a crit, right? Or what? Or lucky hit, then you do more damage. I maybe if you guys know, you could clarify, but I'm not 100% sure.
With Whirlwind. As we keep going, we'll go with Rally Cry and also shouting, challenging shout. So we want to get a few shouts going. Rally Cry will provide us with more fury and also unstoppable and also fortified life, which is really good. And as for challenging shout, we'll provide ourselves with bonus HP, and also as we take damage, we also gain fury. So not only it's defensive, it's also offensive. Notice I'm trying to compensate for the lack of fury because of the change of the Whirlwind. Now over here, we're also going to Warcry to provide us with increased damage with Berserk and also to provide us with more Fortify. I didn't go into the additional damage with at least 6 enemies, because with Whirlwind, you don't care about more enemies. Now why I'm going for all the Warcries is because we also have legendary aspects for the Warcries. And also the Warcries are the most cost efficient for 1 skill point. Now over here, you might be wondering, aren't you short on like single target damage? Yes. So this is why 1 point will be going to Death Blow. And Death Blow allowed us to, deal more damage to enemies, especially single target, and also to one-shot them. No, I don't think I have a spray point into the Death Blow deal 100% to the bosses. But if I do, and if you guys can adjust for this one, go for this as well. Because I actually went for the vulnerability over here to do more damage. Now the aspects for the Whirlwind build is very straightforward. You want to here to do more damage.
It's the vulnerable thing. Okay, I get it.
Now the aspects for the Whirlwind build is very straightforward. You want to get critical chances for the Whirlwind, and this is the core aspects. So this will give you close to 100% critical chance if you have this on the two-hand weapon. After that, everything is pretty straightforward. You can deal more damage to the primary resource when casting, and also over here basic skills increase your core skill damage. Now it is also optional to go with Whirlwind can summon one of the engines, but those 3 are optional. The one you need during the lower rate of the drop rate with the Server Slam is definitely going to be this one. If you get this one, you can try the Whirlwind build. Now over here we can also go with some damage reduction and also some additional fury, and also additional fury with shouts, which is really good because we have all the shouts. And also additional cost skill refunds fury, and also reduction to the shot cooldown. So notice that I'm trying to use as much as we can with the limited skill points, and this way we get to try all the shouts with Whirlwind, and we also have some decent single target damage with Deathly Bow. Now coming over to a second build, and yes guys, you might have guessed we're going with Thorn Barbarian. So our Thorn Barbarian will be going with a lot of good perks, and this works for level 22 or level 20 with arena points. So as for the Thorn Barbarian, we'll go with 1 point into Flay, and also Flay will provide us with 50 more Thorn, up to 4 times, so that's easily 200 Thorn. After that, we're going to 1 point into Rend. Now it's not a big deal to which one you want to go into, but Rend also provides us with vulnerability, and also we get some more fury. Now coming over to the defensive section, this is the biggest part. So what you're going to see is we'll be going with additional life, because over here the perks provide us with bonus Thorn and also bonus Thorn for a maximum life bonus. And here we'll go with additional Thorn.
It's good for hardcore.
And also provide ourselves to deal more bleeding damage. Now if you have seen our previous Thorn build, this is a slight adjustment because we have a few less points. We're still going with Rally Cry because this will provide us with movement speed and also a bit more fury. Now here we'll go with Challenging Shot. This is actually offensive skill with a Thorn build, because we're going with the shot provide maximum life, which means more life and also more Thorn. And here we'll be getting additional Thorn equal to maximum life by 50%. So when you cast Challenging Shot, you're unkillable and also you deal tons of damage. Now in order to get some mobility, we'll go with Leap for one of the skill point. And finally, in order to get more single target damage, we'll go with Death Blow as well. This is really good against the boss, elites, and any monsters that's not dying because of the Thorn. Unfortunately, we can't go into the core of the engines. That'll be really good for the build as well. Now, in order to make the Thorn build work, we just need one very special legendary aspects. And this one we cannot craft it during the server slam. So this is one allows your Thorn damage to deal AoE around you. And what we'll be doing is we'll be gambling gloves for this one. I'll consider if we play Barbarian on the first class. So if you get this one, you can make the build work. The build is very simple. And over here, if you do get additional damage when you stand still, this is also really good. Now, if you find yourself a little weaker against enemies because you're losing too much HP, this particular legendary aspect allows you to heal for tons of life. So definitely consider going this one for the defensive aspects. Now coming over to our third Barbarian build, and this one will be a bleeding build. What a surprise, right? So over here we'll go with 5 points into Rind, and this is quite straightforward. We'll go with Flay, which provides us with more Rind damage. And as for the 5 points into Rind, we'll provide more Fury when we hit enemies with Rind. Now over here, we'll be going with the Ground Stomp, because we want to stun enemies, and when enemies are stunned, we deal more bleeding damage. And we'll go with Rally Cry to provide us with more Fury, and also Rally Cry provide us with even more Fury. This allows us to, do tons of damage with bleeding. Now, in order to enjoy the slow effect buff for the bonus damage, we'll make sure bleeding enemies are also slow by 10%, and also we have a spare point over here. So we do additional damage reduction and also additional damage to close enemies. Now, as for the aspects and also codex for the bleeding build, it's actually quite straightforward. You don't have any core aspects you must have, but this one's really good. So if we stun bleeding enemies, we will deal additional damage to as them physical damage. So this means we can deal additional damage. So this is why we want Ground Stomp to be stumping enemies for a long time. And over here you can just see the basics. I get a bit of increased damage, a bit of additional damage for stunned enemies, and over here we deal more damage, and also here we have increased critical chance against injured enemies, and also crowd controlled. Now, because we know the rate of the legendaries will be really low, I try to not have too many legendaries for you guys to find, and if you do find yourself a little weaker, go for the basic skill that reduces damage by 25%. This is really good. So let me know what you guys think about.
Do you know what legendary affix will be available in the beta? Of course, they'll be the ones for the dungeons, right? I think I'll go with I actually think I'll start with Whirlwind, and then I'll see if I can find the item for the Thorn build. I think I'll go with his builds for the upcoming beta, that is. He's fucking good, man. I like him a lot. For you guys, if you want to see more of his video, you can drop in here. Just drop in there. Okay, and you need to bear with me for 1 sec because I just got a curveball in from the side here. Good. I actually feel like, I have a couple of other good videos. Hey, Mix. And I'm right here, boy. So how we doing? Are you ready to for Friday next week? I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I just want to lose control, but I think I like it. And that's how we do it. All fucking great. I love it. I think so. For those who don't know, we're going to play the server slam. We'll be sitting here. Lose control is the ROM. Yeah. ROMs and butt plugs, right? Mixy will be Mix will be sitting right here. And I think we need to have a talk afterwards, just to make sure that everything is handled and in control, and is planned out as should. There we go. It's all good. It's all good. Mix, have you thought about what character you'll play? I think we'll do this last one. It's from Osterberg 501 again. I think we'll do this last one. And then we will then I actually think we'll go into max roll and see if we can get a little bit smarter. Let's fucking go. Sure, he wants to go. He always wants to go. It's you. Not yet. So I think Putty's going to be a mage. I'm going to be a barbarian. I think that Royal Martin, I think he'll do one of each. So he's probably going to pick, he's not going to do the druid. He's probably not going to do the barbarian, I think. So maybe the rogue. Druid rogue, then druid. And the druid is actually, I like the druid. He's a real man. He's a big man with big hard feelings. I'm a Diablo man, but I can love a druid. I think that's good. Okay, I'm just bragging now. Druid it is, but I got some shit made, right? So, no, we'll take it next time we start. But let's get to it.
So today I want to go over how gearing is going to work in Diablo 4. And I want to keep this video focused on all the different gear rarities, possible roles, and how those are going to change once you get into the end game and start progressing through the world tiers. So to start off, we have 5 different rarities of gear. Yeah. We have normal with no affixes. We have magic that can roll 1 to 2 affixes. We have rare that can roll 2 to 6 affixes. Then we have legendary that roll 4 affixes plus their legendary aspect. Then past that, we have unique items that aren't random rolled that are going to roll with 4 affixes and then their special power.
Okay. So the unique items will always be fixed stats. That's fucking good, because we just heard from Riker that some of them will be extremely hard to get. So the way I understand this is that they have fixed stats, right?
Random rolled that are going to roll with 4 affixes and then their special power. But uniques are all statically rolled, so if you get 1 unique, it's always going to have the same affixes on it. Now gearing is going to change pretty significantly as you progress. I'm very happy to hear that. The game. So once you first start off the game, you're only going to be able to obtain normal up to legendary items. You have to complete the main campaign, get to level 50, complete the first capstone dungeon, which will unlock you world tier 3, and that will allow you to start obtaining unique items as well. So you're not going to start getting unique items until you get into the end game. And likewise, rare items are going to change pretty significantly as well, because once you first start the game, rare items are only going to be able to roll with up to 3 affixes. But as you start to progress throughout the game and get into the end game, get into the higher world tiers, they will start to be able to roll with more affixes on them. Now this is a part of gearing that we're not 100% sure on, because the amount of affixes that could roll on rare items has actually changed multiple times throughout the development of Diablo 4. Now it currently seems like rares will be able to roll up to 6 when you're in the highest world tier at the very end game, but we're still not actually 100% sure about that either. But unless there's some pretty significant changes, it seems like rare items are going to be some of the most important items in the game, specifically because of how many affixes they can roll. But that's not where the changes are going to end, because once you get into world tier 3 and then into world tier 4, you're actually going to get different tiers of these item rarities. So magic, rare, legendary, and unique can kind of be considered the base tier. But once you get into world tier 3, you can start to get sacred items, which are essentially a different tier of all of these base rarities. So you could get legendary sacred items, rare sacred items, and unique sacred items. Not actually sure if you're going to be able to get magic sacred items. Either way, I don't think that's going to be that important anyway. Now what sacred items are going to do is allow these items to roll higher than the base versions could. So if you could compare a base legendary item with a sacred legendary item, the sacred legendary item could roll higher than that base legendary could actually roll. And we don't know the exact amounts, but I have heard 20% throughout a round. So if that would end up to be true, sacred legendary items could at the max be 20% better than just normal legendary items. And that's going to end up meaning that these these higher tiers of rarities will just end up being
I missed that one.
But I have heard 20 to base legendary could actually roll. And we don't know the exact amounts, but I have heard 20% throughout a round. So if that would end up to be true, sacred legendary items could at the max be 20% better than just normal legendary items. And that's going to end up meaning that these higher tiers of rarities will just end up being better if you can get those better rolls on them, because they're not necessarily always going to roll better than the base rarities will. But that's just in World Tier 3, because once you get into World Tier 4, you can also now get ancestral items, which work as just a higher tier past sacred. So now you would have base legendary items, you would have sacred legendary items.
I'm looking forward to that fight.
Items. And ancestral is going to work exactly the same as sacred. So now the stats on that ancestral item can roll higher than sacred can roll, but it doesn't mean it's always going to roll higher than sacred.
Is that pools of gold? I think it is.
Normal legendary
Don't take my loot! It's my loot! That's him. That's him.
But there is one drawback with this, because you're not going to be able to take the legendary aspect from a base legendary and put that on, say, a sacred item. So if you wanted to put a legendary aspect on a sacred piece of rare gear, you would have to get a sacred legendary item, take the aspect off, and then put that on it. So these higher tiers of items are kind of clumped into the same pool, and you can't change legendary aspects between the different pools. And on top of all these changes, you'll also continue to be able to get new unique items as you progress higher into the world tiers. So once you get into World Tier 3, that's where you can first start to obtain unique items. Once you get into World Tier 4, there's also some new unique items that can only be obtained in World Tier 4. Now, these new unique items don't necessarily have to be sacred or ancestral. You just now have the possibility of getting any version of these new specific unique items. So speaking of legendaries, the legendary aspect system is going to be one of the most important parts of gearing in Diablo 4. So how this system is going to work is all legendary aspects or powers are going to randomly roll on a designated set of gear pieces, and they're going to be split into 5 different categories. So for instance, offensive legendary powers are some of the strongest in the game, but these can only roll on amulets, weapons, gloves, or rings. And likewise, you have defensive powers that can only roll on shields, helms, chests, pants, and amulets. So every legendary power in the game randomly rolled on this designated set of gear pieces, but you're able to take any legendary item, take it to a specific NPC in the game called the Occultist, and actually pull that legendary power off of that legendary item. It'll destroy that item and give you a one-time use legendary aspect that you're now able to go put in either a rare item or another legendary item. If you put it in a rare item, it just adds it to that rare item, keeps all the normal affixes it already had, turns it into a legendary, and you're good to go. If you put it on another legendary item, it just removes the legendary power from that item and adds the one you're adding to it. So this is going to end up meaning that once you get into the end game, the vast majority of your gear is going to be legendary gear. Whether this is just a legendary you found in the world and equipped it, or if you took a legendary power off a piece of gear and put it on, say, a rare item. And all of these legendary powers or legendary aspects have a roll range just like normal affixes do. So maybe a legendary power could roll from 10 to 30%. So that also means
socketing no longer than just fine. Yeah, well, you can still socket, right? I mean, there's still Jimson. And welcome to the channel. I hope you had a great day, and I hope you are just half as excited as us to play the game. But so the way it works, at least in the beta, right? So you can suck out the power from items, but you can also do some dungeons where you get these affixes that you can put on rare items. So you still have gyms, and as I recall it, there was more types of gyms. Like there was a skull gym as well. It seems like there's a little bit more, and they're still like same levels and stuff. But you can still socket, yes. Yeah.
Means there's going to be a good amount of chase to get that perfect legendary aspect with the best
and
roll.
Welcome. I don't remember if I said it.
it can get. And again, like I mentioned, this is also going to progress once you get into World Tier 3 and 4, as you can't take a normal legendary power and put it in a sacred rare item. So you don't need to be saving every legendary item or power you get while you're progressing throughout the campaign, because you're not going to be able to use
Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. So have you tried any of the betas yet?
Infuse them into sacred items anyway once you start your end game gearing. But there's also going to be another system.
I really feel like that yeah, it is fucking way too long. But seriously, 1 month from today, if you pre-order the medium or the large pack, 1 month, only 1 month, we will be playing it. Yeah, dude, I did the first weekend so far. Okay. Hi, and you liked it? I can't stress this enough. I haven't looked forward to a game as much as I'm looking forward for Diablo 4. The reason being, next weekend I'll probably roll a new char. I think they will delete it all. 1 month and 4 days. Yeah, if you got the small pack, but if you pre-order the other packs, then you'll get a 4-day head start. So you are right. 1 month, yeah, baby. 1 month. I'm actually not knowing. I'm still considering what you suggested before Putty about some barbarian outfit. I really love the barbarian, right? But I think because it's a max of level 20 for the server slam. Yes, full roleplay. I mean, I'm doing the roleplay every time, right? I am like Ramberg Smash. But then we'll have the outfit as well. Then we'll take the hair out and do some nasty stuff. If we do it. I want a big axe. I mean, I have my small axe. But then we can make like a tactical barbarian, right? But this isn't like a barbarian's tomahawk, right? This is not like pew. So we have a party of 4 for Friday. So we'll be running a party there. But I've actually been considering what to do in the game launch. So on the server slam, just to elaborate on that, I've been playing both betas. I've been playing them a lot. I'm planning a new type of content for some YouTube videos and stuff like that. And I have some ideas on doing some really fun stuff. But I need to see if I can technically get it to work. So I think Friday we'll be playing, and I will be playing more. I'll also test out the Steam Deck again. The Steam Deck is amazing to run Diablo 4 on the go, by the way. But I will be playing. I think I'll be doing some soloing as well, because level 20 is not much. But the big question is actually when the game launches, right? I think we'll be doing a group, but the thing is that, as I recall it, I don't know if it was a bug, but we had some issues with the main quest line, right? So I did some of the parts 2 times without clearing it because it was someone else's game and I hadn't got to the part. So I could do all the stuff, but I didn't get the completion of it. So I think it's really important also, if you guys are planning to do it with friends, if we're having connection issues that we probably have on Friday, it's important that when you group up and play, it needs to be the last guy in that is the leader of the group, right? Because if that is not the case, then that guy or girl will not complete the quests. So keep that in mind. But I'm considering when it releases, we are probably going to run as a group. I know I've talked with Kenny. I actually made a deal with Kenny a long time ago, and we have Royal Martin and Putty, and we also have Mix now, right? The thing is, actually, it's a problem that we can only be 4 in a group, but we'll make it work. But what about you, Maniac? What is your? You sent me on a ramble. You sent me on a ramble. What is your plan? And right after you take the outfit on the bike and go on do some foot. Yeah, exactly. Or just run. So in Diablo 3, I was mainly playing hardcore. I played a bit of softcore in the last season. But in this, I think it's very different, right? There's a lot more boss mechanics. There's a lot more to figure out. Hence, it's easier to die, right? So I think what I will be doing is playing at least, I think the whole pre-season will be softcore. when we play the season, I'll do my barbarian. I'll figure out which one, or read up on which one is the best for PvP. Maybe do that one in season 1. And when I like, the fit off is maybe a harsh word to use, but when I feel I've done it, then I'll start the hardcore journey. I think the hardcore journey will be much more hardcore in Diablo 4. Stuff goes for pussies like no, but the thing is, I really enjoy hardcore, but I think I was a Demon Hunter main and ran hardcore forever, so I think my first playthrough or two, the softcore to get them again. Exactly. I feel like the same. I feel like the same because we just saw the Riker video a bit earlier. It's a couple of days, 4 days old. I haven't seen it before because I wanted to save it for tonight. But the way he talks about the end game, like you're getting spanked a lot. So if you're doing like the torment, there's nightmare. Then if you do the torment sigil dungeons, then you can in softcore you can die 4 times or you fail. That means that, and in the nightmare it's 12 times. So if it's like build around, you can die 12 times or 11 times and still make it, right? I think it's going to be tough, and I like that because one thing I really hope for, I hope this could be. I've played a lot of World of Warcraft during my time, but I simply don't have the time for it. So I'm really hoping for Diablo to take a much more MMO way, like an AMMO or something like that. I really hope for that. But the thing was, I was afraid that they wouldn't do it because they would leave out the hardcore players, right? But now that you can see that the World of Warcraft hardcore is actually a thing and it's actually working. And sorry about that being in Danish. I will switch it up to English after the stream. The chat. So actually, let's do this when we're we're still in the movie. What? One sec. What happened with the transition? It's important. It's very much important. Properties, browse. 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. Give me just a smidgen of a sekundes på vores. Give me 1 sec, boys and girls. I just made this, and I was very proud of it. We just tested it today. Look, I just need to test this. There we go. It's amazing. I just want to fast forward to hardcore dungeon runs. And that's the thing, like, actually, I think one of the biggest issues in Diablo 4 is it's torn people apart. What I loved getting back to Diablo 3, I played it when it released, and to be honest, it was too tedious back then. There was too little to do, right? They took Diablo 2, but the world changed. We've gotten World of Warcraft and stuff like that in the meantime, so people are expecting more of a game. That's my view, right? But I went back to the game, and one thing I really, really thought was crazy, especially after a lot of World of Warcraft, the community in Diablo. Humble! If I know Humble when I hear one. Good to see, man. No, but the community in D3 was fucking amazing, like helpful and all that. Grinding Paragons was meh, but I could run freaking hours. Hello, good to see you. Yeah, and it's like the thing is like the Grinding Paragons Greater Rift stuff. My goal was actually to do a Greater Rift 150 this season, but after playing Diablo 4, I simply couldn't get myself to play Diablo 3, to be honest. But we just went through it. We have a lot of good stuff. We have the sigil dungeons, we have the Hell Tides, we have the PvP stuff, we have the world bosses. I feel like I'm missing something. There's one more thing they talked about for like special materials and stuff. So that's like 5 things. Though I actually don't know how much of how we're doing. We're doing fucking great. Diablo next week. I'm excited. What about yourself? Did you start a new job? Yeah, actually that's a while ago, isn't it? Isn't that? Oh, well. Okay, let's finish up. Let's finish up this video.
Tied into legendary aspects is going to help you.
You're not a Diablo man. Are you a Diablo man? You can become a Diablo man. Ladies and gentlemen, I am that transition give me. But actually, I dig it. I just had it made today. So thank you. I actually didn't thought about that, but that's right, man. Fight Club. I was going for the Diablo. Fuck yeah, that is. It is, man. I want to be a. You want to be a Diablo man. If there's something you want, it is to be a Diablo man. It's not the worst kind of man to be honest. It's not the worst kind of man. But that's right. That's right. Fight Club. I missed that one. So let's finish up this movie or video just to get the last insights in terms of the gearing. Maybe someday I will. You played. You should. You can win a key. We're doing some giveaways here on the channel. I didn't want to be a Diablo man. Then I got sucked in and grinded. Yeah, exactly right. Nothing wrong in that. Patty, how are we? Good to see you. Are we doing good?
Quite a lot as you're progressing through the game and getting into the end game. And this is called the Codex of Power. Now, how this is going to work is completing dungeons throughout the game is going to unlock you a codex in this Codex of Power. Now, codexes are a permanent version of different legendary powers or aspects.
So you're taking your driving license exam. Fingers crossed. Everything settled. I think the theory exam is always the worst one, right? Fuck, I hate it. Practical exams, let's go. And for those of you just tuned in that are used to the Danish content, from now on, all Diablo 4 content will be in English. Maybe some of the other content as well. There will still be some Danish streams. I would like to do some streams with my daughter. I'm actually considering buying a PlayStation 5 to put in the house, so I can play couch gaming with my daughter, maybe stream it. But the thing is, my wife thinks that 7 years is not old enough for Diablo 4, so she cannot become a Diablo 4 woman. It sounded weird. Okay,
but this codex can be applied to infinite items. So once you unlock a codex, and say you unlock a codex that gives you a legendary aspect that's really good for your build, now no matter what, you can have that legendary power and apply to any piece of gear that you want. So you never have to go without having this specific legendary power as you progress throughout the game.
You're going to nail it. Exactly. The thing is, I was thinking, okay, I have put a little bit too much thought into this, right? So the thing is that behind we have the TV mounted on the wall, right? With all cables and everything, like power, internet, all that going through the wall, right? So, and the PlayStation, I actually think that I would be able to mount it. I saw you could get those mount walls, right, for the PlayStation. So I actually don't know if she's watching now. Then I'll have hell to pay when I get back. But then I would have I was considering just mounting it behind the TV. She would fucking never know. If my daughter could shut up, she would never know. That's going to be You have to have codex for endgame. No, you won't compete. Yeah, and then that's the thing. And also we have the codex, but also the Paragon boards. I'm a little bit afraid. To be honest, I know there'll be guides, but so like what we talked about earlier is I've never done any theory crafting. I was the guy forced into build per class and realize the legend. Yeah, I worry that you'll be forced into one build per class if you rely on this legendary power. I understand that, but the thing is, I think it's going to be much harder to get the perfect build in Diablo 4 compared to Diablo 3. So I think you have to work with what you got, kind of. The only thing I'm worried about in that regard, is they talked about they want to make it hard to respec, which I think is very stupid. I mean, it's okay that it takes a little bit of effort, so you don't switch it all the time. But what if I get I'm going for this build and then I get this item that is fucking good for another build, so I can kind of go with this build until I get the right pieces for this build. It's I hope they don't make it too much of a hassle. If it's a couple of hours grind of gold or something like that, it's fine. But what I was about to say is we're trying to do some theory crafting. I haven't tried it before. I need to Google a little bit. We'll do some streams about it. We'll do it together. Hopefully some of you guys are much better than me, so you can give me some pointers, give us some pointers. But I really want to get a deeper understanding on the build. So because I think it will be harder to get the exact build from the guide. So I'd like to have a deeper understanding of, okay, this place in here, this place in here, this is good because of softcore won't matter if you power level charge with the new specs. With new specs, I don't get it. Okay, I get it. Yeah, for sure. But and the power leveling thing, okay, I get it now. The power leveling thing, I mean, in Diablo 3, that was like, in the last season, what I think we could level up to max level in like 15 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that. I don't think that will be the case in this. Also because it's all scaling, right? So I don't think we will be able to like just power boost one character to max level in an hour, for instance. I don't think that will be the case, though. I don't think that will be the case.
And a pretty big upside of this is that these codexes can be applied to any different tier of gear. So you could apply the codex power to normal items, sacred items, or ancestral items. But there's two big downsides with the system. The codex does not have all legendary powers in the game. I think it only has around half of them. And I think it currently has around 115 powers. So you're not going to be able to get every legendary power in the codex. And
yeah, still roll a new character, but my point is still this, then you still need to get the character up, the one you're playing, right? So then you drop an item, then I need to make one more barbarian. But I mean, it just feels silly, right? Also because I think it's hard to level up, but we will see. Those are the questions. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, and it's not like, if it's too hard, I feel like I've heard, for instance, Riker just talked about it. It'll cost some gold. It'll take some time. It's not that bad, and I hope that is what they're sticking with. But the thing is that, especially when we're talking about balancing these different systems, right? We've tried some stuff. Some other people have tried some stuff. Riker played some in-game. There was the in-game NDA beta and stuff like that. But we don't know what it will be like when it releases, right? For instance, also the legendary drop chance that was like 3 times high in the betas than it will be when we play the game. I know the beta coming up now will be the same drop chance as in the game when it locks out or releases. Just give me 1 sec. I just need to close the door because it's getting cold. But man, I'm looking forward to... actually, by the way, is my mic clipping? I've really tried to fix the mic situation in this here. I'm not a mic man. I'm a Diablo man. Just need a mic to work. Okay, let's finish this up.
The codex gives you the weakest version of those legendary powers. So like I mentioned, legendary powers can roll like normal affixes. So maybe
okay. Makes sense.
Roll 10 to 30%, the codex would give you the 10% version. It would always be the lowest roll.
Perfect,
so even if you had the codex power, which was
I'm shouting like I normally do, and this is because I'm listening normally. And for those of you who are new to the channel, it's always high energy, big smiles. Everyone is welcome. It isn't necessarily always about min-maxing everything. It's about having fun. Play the game, enjoy it, right? But with Diablo, I would like to get a little bit deeper understanding of the game. So we'll do that in a later afsnit, in a senere afsnit, a later episode. That was a stupid Danish joke.
You would still want to be farming for legendary pieces of gear to give you a higher rolled version of that specific power. Now we kind of go over gearing without going more in depth on UVs, because these are going to be the ultimate chase items in the game. And these are going to...
But that means still, I mean, the codex, you could still use it, for instance, if you need some special abilities, right? Or special affixes. Then you'll still be able to get it. It won't be the best roll for it, but you will have it. I guess Normally they're very quick. It's like not next day, but they usually are quite quick. You ordered, there's actually some days ago. You should have it by tomorrow. Otherwise, if there's any issues, shoot me a DM with your email so I know the account and I can ask them. Normally it's very, very, very fast. Yeah. Shaco, good old Shaco. It's good.
You're gonna be
I like it as well, but it just helps you out to get like the right affixes for your build, and then you can always like upgrade them later on. But then you will still have like the core skills, right? So I actually think that's cool as well. And I think the more exotic ones is the one you find at the items out in the world as well. I'm guessing.
Incredibly rare. You can only start obtaining these once you've gotten into World Tier 3, and you're still not even able to obtain all uniques, because once you get into World Tier 4, you now have more uniques you can obtain. And these things are going to be ridiculously rare. The developer said that most players should only expect to get 2 to 3 of these per season. Now, seasons are going to last for 3 months. So for most players, you're only going to be getting around 1 unique item per month. Now, we don't know the exact play time.
In real, it depends on how much you play, right? I don't know how. I mean, it's a percentage. It's not like you've played for this long and within this period. So I would say people that are playing a lot, sadly, probably more than I'll be able to do, because of family work and all that jazz. You could up that chance. I'm betting that you could get maybe 5 or 6 if you really hit it right.
Entail, but these are still going to be ridiculously rare. But that also means the uniques are going to be just incredibly strong, and a lot of these uniques are going to be so strong that they actually allow builds to exist.
And that's also a thing I really like, it that the uniques, since they're so hard to get, they have fixed stats. I fucking love it. We talked about it a little bit earlier. One sec, I'm just going to put this one back down. We talked about it a little bit earlier, that if they're so hard to find, you shouldn't like go for the right role, right? It should just be what it is. So I really like that.
And we've actually gotten some really cool examples. So one of the most recent ones I showed off was the returning Shaco, or what's actually called the Harlequin Crest. And this is a unique helmet that can be used by any class. And the special of this is that you gain 10 to 20% damage reduction at all times. That's the specific role on this item. And then you gain +4 ranks to all skills. That's every single skill for that class, which is kind of ridiculous, and I could very much see this being nerfed.
Really?
And this was being shown off as an ancestral item. Presumably this is one of the uniques you can only obtain while being in World Tier 4, but the power of this is completely ridiculous, because keep in mind, getting a plus skill rank to a skill means you can just use that skill. You don't have to put any skill points in that skill to actually use that if you have a plus skill rank to it on a piece of gear. This gives you +4 skill ranks to every single skill, meaning you could just
that is fucking insane.
To use any skill combination you want just off of this helmet. And how the skills in Diablo 4 scale is you're getting around a 10% damage increase per skill point put in. So if you're already using a skill that you have 5 points in, this is going to give you 40% damage increase on every one of your main skills. And there's going to be just tons of additional unique items. I think there's going to be over 100 unique items, either class specific,
and you can get 3 per season. That's crazy.
For general use on the launch of the game. And again, like mentioned before, these uniques are going to be statically rolled. So if you look at the Harlequin Crest, it gives maximum life, cooldown reduction, resource generation, and an increase to all stats as its normal affixes. This helmet will always roll with those affixes, but
so if it says it already rolls with these affixes, so okay, so it could roll. It says 10 to 20%. And it rolled on 20, but that means that has a lower and upper limit, so that is not static. That is not static. So none of it is static. It's just the different stats are fixed, but the volume of it is can vary, right? And then you can probably still re-roll. Can you only re-roll one? Because then you could re-roll the lowest one within the perimeter.
Have a roll range, so it's not always going to give the same amount of life or the same amount of cooldown reduction. So with all these different gearing systems tied together, you're going to have a ton of different options for what pieces of gear you want to use for your specific builds, and there's going to be a decently laid out path of progression as you go throughout the campaign, and then as you start getting into the end game and going through World Tier 3 and World Tier 4. But that's pretty much all I want to go over, so thanks for watching. So today
here we go. So Germans are coming. I was like, what the fuck is that? So this is Osterberg 501. I've been watching a fair amount of his videos. I would say said Germans. I would say we have Riker